All right, guys, so we are going to be washing up the GT3 in this video. We're going to do a little bit of a wash and talk. This is the last few days with the car, so I figured might as well kind of wrap things up doing something that I love, which is washing cars, and kind of chatting about it with you guys. So I figured might as well get the car cleaned up and have some fun. So let me get everything together, let's get started, and let's have a talk. So my time with the GT3, the 991.2 GT3, is coming to a close, and I gotta say, I'm pretty sad about it. This was one of those cars that I've had the pleasure of experiencing for about actually a full week, and I do not want to give it back. This is truly an incredible car, and once again, I just want to thank Jeff for not only lending it to me and letting me experience it, but literally just let me do whatever I wanted to do with the car, you know, drive it every single day. You guys saw me drive it in the rain and everything, and it's just a car that can do it all. I will say that after driving this, my priorities in my car life have for sure shifted. Now, I've always knew I wanted a GT3, and that's kind of always been the goal for me, but after truly experiencing this and really getting to, you know, get to know the car, and you know, if it's truly what I want to chase after, my mindset has officially changed and gone into a different mode, if you will. It made me realize that this is definitely the route and where I want to be in life, and the car I want to own, just everything about it. This is it for me. And it really just is an incredible car. I mean, even just driving around town and everything, I know a lot of people say that these cars truly shine and, you know, are best in the higher RPM range, which I do agree, but they're still so fun to drive around town. I mean, it's like, it's so easy to drive. You get in, you just feel at home, everything is right where it should be, and, you know, there was no kind of downtime with the car. I just got in, and I was driving it, you know, I was driving it like I've owned it for a year, you know, it's super easy to drive, very user-friendly, the clutch is very easy, the shifting feel and engagement is super easy to drive, so it took zero effort to get to know this car, and that was kind of the same thing with the Carrera T, Jeff's old Carrera T that I had for about a week as well. Now, again, it was one of those cars I just got in and I knew where everything was, and it's just, if I felt at home in it. And at the time I was driving my STI, or I owned my STI, so, you know, it was a very, very different car, and they're just so good. They do everything so well. And I've realized with this car and just Porsches in general, is you really don't need to do much to them in order to get them to look, sound, and feel right. They're amazing pretty much out of the box, but obviously there's some room for improvement. One of which is the exhaust. This thing sounds amazing. This has the Acura muffler delete with the 100 cell cats on the side. Sounds so good. Although Jeff, the owner of this car, he loves it, but he wants to get a valve set up on this so he's able to at least control the volume. You know, so on cold starts, if he's starting it up in the morning, which I can relate to. You guys all know I did that with the F80. And I believe he's going to be going to a Dundon setup, which is kind of, again, for a car like this, a very, very well-deserved exhaust. Sounds amazing and pretty pricey, but I do think it's very worth it. Now, I've really grown to love these wheels. These are the BBS FIRs. I mean, I've always liked them, but I don't know. Something about them, I never thought they were worth the cost, because these things are like 10 to 12 grand. And I mean, it's a beautiful wheel, but I don't know, for the price, I just never thought it was worth it. Now I was like, I'd rather spend a little bit less and get a wheel that I like, you know, a design. You know, you can still get a BBS wheel, you can still get some Volks. I mean, you can get a lot of different wheel options and styles with, you know, 10 to 12 grand. But after experiencing these and seeing these in person, and obviously cleaning them up right now, and Jeff actually had these on his Carrera T, not the same ones obviously because these are center locks, but he had FIRs on his Carrera T, and it's a beautiful wheel, and it fits so well on this car, on this chassis, and it just looks really, really proper. But I will say, If this were my car, I would probably get some BBS E88s. Something about a GT3 on E88s or E89s, I believe is what the model of the wheel for this car, the sizing and everything. It's the way to go. I just love that motorsport look, and that basket weave on these cars. It just fits so well. I don't think I would do gold. I'd probably just do silver. Keep it nice and simple. But gold on white would be pretty cool. But these do look beautiful. This color, this finish is diamond, I think black, or diamond black, I believe it's called. Beautiful color. And they clean up so nice. I mean, for a car like this, these wheels are definitely deserved. I mean, Jeff did this car right. Everything, he's had it for like a month and a half or so at this point, and he's already done the Acura exhaust, which is not cheap. He's done the BBS FIRs, which are not cheap. He's got some Yokohama 8009s on here, tires. Amazing tire. The DSC controller. What else has he got? He's got the numeric shifter. Lots of really nice stuff on here. And oh, the matrix headlights, which are so nice. I love those things. Looks so much better than the factory lights. Because this car came with the, I believe the HID is not even the LEDs. So upgrading to the matrix style looks amazing. These are some big boys. These are 20s, which actually fit this car really well. On the older generations, on the 997s, I think a smaller wheel looks a little bit better, but the 20s on here fit really, really nicely. The factory wheels are 20s, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. But this car is fully PPF'd, and I'm pretty sure he's actually getting it redone because the previous, there's a lot of areas where dirt's collecting and everything, and there's some areas that can definitely be touched up, but I think he's redoing the whole thing. And as far as I know, the entire car, or most of the car, is done. But it's super, so nice, such a nice spec. So many people, when I posted this car on my Instagram, so many people were congratulating me, and I felt really bad because you know, obviously it wasn't my car, but I was waiting for the video to come out. I wanted to at least, you know, I was excited that I am driving a GT3 for the next week or so. You know, I just wanted to kind of update you guys on what's to come on the channel in terms of videos in the next week or so. I'm running out. And kind of backfired on me because everybody was saying congratulations. I don't know why I wasn't thinking, but I had to correct those people and message them and be like, oh, I appreciate it, but not my car. But I guess now the info's out. That obviously it isn't my car. I mentioned it on the video, doing the driving and everything, and the first video I had on it. And so many people were like, oh my God, I can't believe the F80's gone. I can't believe you sold it. And it's so funny how people just make up their own conclusions when nothing was said or not even mentioned about selling the F80 and whatnot. And I don't know. But I will say, after my time with this car, I love the F80. It's an amazing car, amazing value for the money. I think, well, I know where I want to go. I want to get one of these. Now we'll go over in a little bit as to what generation, what year, what kind of that I'm interested in. But I don't know if the F80 is going to be sticking around much longer. We'll see. I don't know. I'm trying not to get ahead of myself. I'm trying to be patient because this is big boy money here. You know, this is not something that you know, you can sacrifice a little bit on. This is like no joke, a serious price tag. And in order to get one of these, you know, it's going to take some work for sure. But I don't know. I guess we'll kind of chat a little bit about the F80 and my plans and everything, and I guess where my focus is at this point in a little bit once we start washing the car. But man, these wheels are so easy to clean. The finish on this is so nice. It's nice and glossy, so you hardly have to scrub. The brake dust doesn't stick to it. It may even be ceramic coated. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm curious to see if the car or the paint is ceramic coated at this point. I'm not sure if he got it dialed in yet. because I know he's waiting to redo the PPF. So I'm not sure if he spent the time and money to get the car coated and all that and corrected, because there's definitely some areas of the PPF that need a little attention, but it did its job. You know, that's what PPF is for. It's for protecting the paint, and you know, this is going to come off and it's going to look absolutely perfect underneath. I mean, the car is a 2018. It got it with 6,000 miles. It has 8,400, 8,500 now, so pretty much a baby, but it's definitely getting driven, getting used. I think Jeff has put more miles on it in his ownership than the previous owner did in a couple months. I think he's the third owner actually, and the first owner was like 2,000 miles in a couple years. Second owner was barely anything. So I think this car has been driven more in Jeff's ownership in a couple months than it has in the few years of the previous owners. But as it should, this car is meant to be driven. You know, I know it's a very special car and everything, but you got to drive it. This thing is just incredible, absolutely insane. All right, so usually what I've been doing is using the touchless by Built Hamber first, just spraying it down, leaving it on for 5 to 10 minutes, then rinsing it off. This car deserves to have the Built Hamber touch. Otherwise, I mean, I'm just kind of doing it because I enjoy this process and it looks really good. It does a great job. And to be honest, even after all that rain and how dirty the car gets, it's pretty darn clean. And I can definitely tell there's some type of coating on here for sure. So I would almost say that just doing the Built Hamber touchless, a coat of that, spraying it off would be enough. But we're going to do a full wash, obviously, because A, the car deserves it, and B, I want to kind of take it that next step further for Jeff. Obviously, kind of thank him a little bit. I already gave him a full tank of gas of Shell 93, so we're going to do the full wash. So we're going to do the Built Hamber first, and let that sit for 5 to 10 minutes, and we'll jump on the normal wash with some Kachemi GSF. I love this stuff. It's amazing how the car turns out and looks after it runs off. Again, 5-10 minutes, that's all you need. Then you just rinse it off. And if your car is just a little dusty and you took it out once, or you know, it's sitting in the garage and you want to kind of freshen it up, this is a perfect product for that. But as I mentioned, we're going to do the full wash. But just wanted to kind of show you the car, kind of walk around a little bit, show you the car foamed in the garage. Looks so good in here. I love it, I love it. Although the car is white, so it doesn't really change color much. It's very, very different when I do my F80 in here, since it's gray, and when we foam it down, obviously it looks totally different. But this car, oh, just everything about it. I'm probably gonna be saying this a million times in this video. And oh, sorry about the mess. We're doing some renovations in the house right now. All right, so I'm gonna let this run off 5-10 minutes, rinse it off, then we can jump on to the actual wash. All right, so I foamed it down with GSF. Now we're gonna actually wash. So I got my 2-bucket method over here, my soap and rinse bucket, and my wash mitt, and we can get to washing. But I love this. Actually, usually I use a whole entire bottle of GSF on the car, but this took like 3/4. The car's so much smaller than the F80 and obviously the truck, so definitely use less soap with a smaller car, obviously. But it I went around it full 2 times, and I was about to go around a 3rd time, and I was like, it just doesn't need it. But this car is so easy to wash, so small. It's not like crazy curves on it or anything, so no dirt really gets trapped anywhere. It's nice. Makes the experience even better. All right, so as I mentioned, after driving this car, I know I've always wanted a GT3, but this kind of like kicked it into high gear. So I'm not saying I'm gonna go out and get one tomorrow. I mean, maybe. But I'm definitely I don't want to say actively searching, but I'm definitely looking more than I usually do, which is pretty often, to be honest. This just is another level of car. You know, and a part of me is like, slow down, enjoy the F80 now, because, you know, once you go to something like this, like this is it. Like, where does it go from here? You know, it doesn't get much better than this, really. Obviously, there's the RS, but honestly, I can't imagine anything much better. Like, this is just the epitome. This is, if I was a car, my personality, me, if I was a car, this is me. Like, I couldn't describe myself better in terms of what car I would be. Now, there's a lot of options to choose from in terms of what generation, what year, specs and all that. There's so many different ways to kind of go about this. Now, if you guys don't know, this is a 991.2 GT3. It's manual. Unfortunately, in the .1s, it only came in PDK. They didn't offer it in a manual option. And also, the .1s are the ones that had the motor issues when they first released them. So there's actually, Porsche actually released a, what do you call it? They released a recall on these, on the earlier ones, because the screws or the bolts on the connecting rods were said to loosen. And then when that would happen, oil would leak onto a part of the fuel system, and then they would catch on fire. So what Porsche did is actually recalled all of them. And I think at the time there was like 700 of them sold. So they recalled all of them. They said, if you own one, don't drive it until we fix it. So they replaced all the motors with the original motor was an E motor. Then they went to an F, which is the replacement one, which had the fix. So they replaced all the motors with the F motor. And then I believe the later years got the G motor, which had some upgrades to it as well. Some, you know, a few other things. But in Porsche, and in good faith, they actually put a warranty on the 991.1s on those motors for 10-year, and I think it was 120,000 miles, whichever came first. And 2025 is when that warranty is up. So the 991.1s are dipping in price right now a ton. I've seen them in the in terms of price. The .1s are like 120, 130 right now, which is, I mean, it's still very expensive, but when you look at the .2s, these things are like 190 to 210. So pretty reasonable, but I don't know. I don't know if I want a .1. This thing is too good with the manual. And also, that's a really, really big sticker. 200K. But the good thing is, these things are going to hold value like crazy, and honestly, this is going to be a easy 250 car pretty soon, actually. So if you got one like Jeff, who paid under 200 for this, you're in really good shape, because this car is going to hold value extremely well. So what am I interested in? Which one am I going to go after? Now, I think the .2s are just a little out of reach at this point. So obviously I was looking at the .1s because I really want a GT3, but you know, we're going to be looking at PDKs, which is an amazing transmission, but you know, there's so much to consider there. One, the pricing of them, you know, how is it going to react once the warranty is up? They're obviously pretty low now, or lower. And you know, and also the warranty is up, so the motor, what's going to happen? Granted, I don't think those motors are just going to spontaneously combust and stop working after the 10 years and next year, so I think they're okay. But you never know, you know, that's a really expensive fix that would be on you, unless you got a third-party warranty or something, which isn't cheap to begin with. I'm kind of opening up my market a little bit and considering, obviously .1 as I mentioned, but I'm starting to look into the 997 .1s because the .2s are the same price as this. They're like 200, which is crazy. I'd rather get this than a 997.2 as much as I love them. I think the 991.2 is a better value in terms of what you get. So I'm kind of looking at 997.1s in a manual in my favorite color in these cars, which is Guards Red. Hopefully I can find one with the ceramics, which would be really nice. But in terms of a GT3, I think a 997.1 or 991.1 is where I would be looking. I'm also contemplating, because I was like, you know what, it'd be cool to have a GT car that's a little bit newer. You know, what about the GT4s, the 981 specifically, which were in 2016. I'm not a big fan of the 718s. I don't know, something about them, they don't sound that good. Obviously they have a little bit more horsepower and stuff, and they're technically a better car overall. But to be honest, I think the 981, the sound, it's hard to beat that. So we're looking at some 981 GT4s as well, which is an amazing, amazing car. I actually found one in my ideal spec, and my F80 might be for sale, I'm not gonna lie. With that said, if anybody is seriously interested in my F80, as is, I may entertain it. And keep in mind of what is currently on the car, I'd be selling as is with all the modifications. So, I mean, you do the math of what I've spent on that car and where it's currently at in terms of the value, and, you know, what it would take to do a copy paste. You know, if you were to buy an F80 exact spec and do the exact same modifications, you know, how much would that cost you? I'll tell you right now, it would be over $100,000, because that is for sure what I've spent. I think I've put, I think it was around like 45 into it already, just for modifications. And the car I got for 65 about a year, about a year and a half ago or so at this point. So no, I wouldn't be asking 100K for an F80, because that's just not, nobody's gonna buy that, but it'd be up there, it'd be close. And obviously I can part it out and sell for cheaper, but if anybody's interested in purchasing as is, send me a DM on Instagram and maybe we can work something out. Because as I mentioned, Porsche's got me feeling some type of way. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not in a rush to do that, because I gotta figure a few things out on my end. But you know, I'm trying to reel myself in a little bit, and as I mentioned, enjoy the F80, because to be honest, an F80 M3, especially the way that I have it set up and everything I've done to it, it's a fantastic bargain. You get a lot of car for not that much. Now, you know, is a GT3 worth the cost over the F80? You know, on paper, no, because my F80 feels way faster than this, just because of the different power plant and kind of everything it's got going on. But I mean, there's just no feeling like a proper Porsche GT3. I mean, if you ever driven one or been in one or what have you, you would understand what I'm talking about. I think any car enthusiast would understand what I'm saying. But I mean, like I said, to be honest, the F80 M3 is an incredible car. So I'm trying to slow my roll a little bit, just be like, you know, enjoy the F80. Don't just get rid of it so soon, kind of thing. But I don't know, I'm all over the place. This car's got me all upside down here. Also, don't make fun of my shirt, my sick Mandalorian shirt. My kids got it for me, so leave me alone. I'm just an old boring, nerdy dad. But yeah, I'm going to finish wiping this down with some OG drying aid, get the tires dressed and clean the glass. I actually already did the interior last night. So everything is pretty clean and ready to go back to Mr. Jeff. But still got it for a day or two, so I'm going to enjoy the car clean for a little bit. And who knows, maybe I'll wash it again off camera before I return it to Jeff, depending on how much time I got and everything. So let me finish this up and then we can wrap the video up. All right, so I got the car all wiped down and everything, but I don't think I showed you guys the motor. Not that really is anything to see, but I think it's so funny. This is all you get. You get a really nice piece of dry carbon here, or matte carbon, coolant, oil, and that's it. And the front over here, under the plastics up front, is the washer fluid, but that's all you get. You don't get to see this beautiful, beautiful motor unless you're looking underneath. But thought I would at least show you that. Obviously it has the frunk, which is a cool view. I love that. And I've been using this all week, putting my stuff in there for work and all that. So it's so nice. You pull in, and I got the workbench right here, and I just take everything out, put on the workbench. It's so practical. Most practical car in the world. But all right, let me clean up, wrap it up, and then we can, I guess, say our final conclusions and our final goodbye of the GT3. Although I may do a video picking the F80 back up, kind of do it back to back, not a comparison, but you know, just kind of what I'm thinking of as I'm dropping this off and driving it for the last time, and then getting in my F80. I'm really curious to see what I think now after all this time driving this car, and you know, does it still feel fast? Does it still feel good? How's the shifter feel and all that stuff? So I'm really curious to kind of get back in that car and see what I think after driving this amazing car for the past week. But all right, I'll catch back up with you guys very shortly. All right, guys, car is all finished up, looking absolutely incredible. Ugh, seeing this in my garage, I'm telling you, I don't think there's been anything more motivating than this car sitting in my own personal garage. This is pretty awesome. I just want to give a huge shout out to Jeff. I've already talked or thanked him a million times in all the videos, but again, thank you, Jeff, for allowing this dream to come true and, you know, quote unquote, own this car for a week and enjoy it and drive it through the rain, do everything that I would do with my cars. And it's been an absolute blast. And I'll tell you what, it's crazy, but it not only changed my mindset in terms of the direction I want to go with the car and, you know, really, really kind of solidified it, but also it changed my mind, you know, in life, just, you know, the motivation and just, you know, wanting to get to that next stage in life and everything. So, you know, it's not just about the car. It's not just about the materialistic thing. You know, it's really just motivational and manifestation, if you will. Having this in the garage right now and just being able to enjoy it for the past week. But so thank you, Jeff, for loaning the car and also changing my mindset in life. And I'm really looking forward to it. So if you guys have any questions at all about the car or anything else about the washing procedure, I'll be more than happy to answer in the comments below. But that's gonna do it for this one, guys. Any questions at all, leave them in the comments below. But in the meantime, keep it clean, keep it simple, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.